If you're carrying the weight of your team's problems, you're probably confusing leadership with rescue. I see it all the time. I've been guilty of it myself. As a fixer, as a solver, as a person who genuinely cares and wants to serve others, oftentimes what we do is we open ourselves up to taking the monkey and putting it right on our back. The problem is this: most leaders unconsciously absorb the stress, complaints, and dysfunctions of their teams, believing that solving everything is part of the job. But when we internalize what's outside of our control, we erode the very agency we're meant to build in others. The cost? Burnout, learned helplessness in our teams, and a culture of waiting for permission instead of creating progress. Let me tell you a story. Recently, I was sitting down with a high-functioning, high-powered, really competent leadership team, and we were walking through how to have more effective leadership conversations within our teams. And this individual shared with me that he was really struggling with the process of performance reviews, specifically that he was required to write all the performance reviews for his team before he had received feedback from his own boss on his performance. And the frustration he shared was, I don't have the information I need to write exceptional performance reviews for my team because my boss hasn't shared with me my own blind spots, and I would like to weave that into my communication to my team. And what he was doing was he was complaining. What he was doing was an exceptional job at identifying the problem. What he wasn't doing was recognizing where he had agency, where he had an opportunity for control, where he had an opportunity to choose. And so I sat there for a second, let him carry on, and then just asked him this question: what would have to be different to create a better outcome? And he thought for a second. He said, well, it would be great if I had the feedback. And I said, well, what can you do? What is within your control? And he said, well, I'm not really sure. This is the way the process is. This is, the way the system is. This is excuse. And again, this person's very successful, very high performing. But what they've done is they bought into a victim mindset that this is the way the world is and I don't have any choice. And so I just made the simple suggestion, well, would it be possible for you to just pick up the phone and call your boss and say, hey, I'm getting ready to do my performance reviews, and it'd be really helpful. I know you're not going to finish my review for a few more weeks, but it'd be really helpful if you could give me 2 or 3 of my blind spots that I need to be working on and thinking about, that I could weave into my feedback for my team and really leverage them to help me become a more effective leader. Is that something you could do? And he thought for a second. He said, well, absolutely, I can do that. I didn't do anything great or spectacular, but what I did was help him understand where he had agency. And I like to think of this through the lens of Judo. This is taking force that's being projected upon us as leaders and redirecting it back to where it belongs, with our team. And often we see where people they bring us problems and they bring us challenges, and it's really, really a bit of a doom cycle if we're fixers. And guilty as charged here, I'm a fixer. I love to solve problems. And the challenge that comes to bear all too often is when you have someone who is really good at solving problems, exceptional at fixing things, and you have a team that is really good at identifying problems, well, then you get an overburdened, overdone, burned out leader who is trying to be the hero. They're trying to be the savior for all the solutions, as opposed to being the leader and enabling and empowering their team to have agency, to take control, to identify what would have to be different and what they can do. I'm a huge fan of Viktor Frankl's book, The Man's Search for Meaning, and his entire work. I try to read this book every year. And the reason I like it is because he, like in a nutshell, the specific identification of what makes a person able to survive things like the horrors of the Holocaust was their ability to choose their response in between the action and the stimuli. It's like a person has agency. Viktor Frankl's work is so powerful. because it identifies that a person has a choice. In between a stimulus and a response, you as an individual have an opportunity to choose. You have agency. And we as leaders often don't exercise agency. We accept, we receive, we allow, as there was a great Harvard Business Review article pointed out once, we allow our team to put the monkey on our back. We allow people to transfer responsibility and accountability that should be squarely on them. We allow them to put it on our back, to shift what they are ultimately responsible for and put it on us. And what's powerful about this is when we do that in accepting the monkey, the manager voluntarily assumes a position that's subordinate to his subordinate. And that's the trap. That's the cost of not reinforcing agency. And the advice that I would give is when someone presents you with a problem, instead of saying, here's how you can fix it, instead of saying, have you tried this? Instead of saying, I'll fix it, ask the question, what would have to be different? What can you do? What should you do? How can I help you solve this? How can I enable you to be more successful? I used to tell all of my leadership teams, I am always willing to hear your problems, but only when they're packaged with a solution. It doesn't have to be the right solution. It doesn't even have to be the best solution. But what you have to do is you have to demonstrate that you're putting thought into not only problem identification, but problem resolution. Hey, I had this issue. Here's this problem. And here's how I'm thinking about solving it. What am I missing? Help me understand. That's a great coaching conversation. That's a great empowering conversation for your team. And when we miss the opportunity to take and redirect that energy back into our team, back towards problem resolution at their level, when we miss that, we miss the opportunity to reinforce their own agency and we enable dependency. It's a leadership judo move. What could you do? That's a way of not absorbing the force. What solutions have you considered? Redirect the energy. What would have to be different to create a better outcome? Give them the responsibility, but do it with care, do it with clarity, do it with grace. The next time a team member brings you a complaint, pause, ask them, what would have to be different in order for this to work? What can you do? What will you do? There's the magic. And never let the conversation end without a clarification of next steps, a commitment. What will you do? But now we put the monkey back where it belongs, with the person who's most well-equipped to carry it, who has the right knowledge, the right insights, the closest to the problem. Connect the dots. Enable, don't disable. Empower, not steal. We're not here to enable dependency. What we're here to do is make people better for having taken on and solved their own problems. Even when the systems don't make sense, even when the timing's off, there's always a place to act, even if that action is only your attitude. Great leaders don't absorb energy, they redirect it. They don't take on all the problems, all the challenges, all the issues. Instead, they help others become more adept at understanding and uncovering the agency they have every single day. That in between every stimulus and a response is the power of choice. That in between identifying a problem and creating a solution, a leader has the chance and the obligation to empower and enable the people who own the problem to own the solution as well. Where are you carrying the monkey right now? Where has all the kinetic force and energy of the problems that reside within your organization, within your leadership purview, where have they been brought to you and been put upon you by your own team? It's not their fault. It's your opportunity to redirect, to ask the framing questions. What would have to be different? What can you do? What will you do? There's so much power in taking a moment to pause and identifying the opportunity we have in between stimulus and response to redirect the energy that's being projected at us as leaders and shift it back to where it belongs. We can do it with care, we can do it with clarity, and we can do it with grace and love. But what we can't do is end up with all the problems and all the weight of the world on our own backs. Because all we've done is created an organization that is dependent on us. And that's not leadership. If today's episode gave you something to think about, something to apply, head over to leadershipunlockedpodcast.com or visit arcusgroup.com and join the newsletter. It's where we share tools, insights, and our leadership frameworks to help you lead with more clarity, more alignment, and more impact. No fluff, just what helps you lead better. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time on Leadership Unlocked.